Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 23 of Reading Layamon Brut. Today is quite a significant episode. We begin a series of what will approximately be 7 episodes that will cover the story of a very famous literary figure. And this particular literary character was not made famous by Layamon, nor was he made famous by the chronicle tradition in which he first appears. Rather, he was made famous some 400 years or so after Layamon was writing by no less than William Shakespeare. That's right, today we are talking about King Lear. And for that reason, it's possible that we may have some people joining us for the first time. So allow me first of all to say welcome, thank you for tuning in, and you are very welcome to start here. You don't need to go back to the beginning of the series. So if Lear is your main interest, don't feel you have to watch all the previous 22 videos. But if you would like some more background on this particular text, then I do provide some of that in the first video, so that might be worth having a quick look at if you just want to brush up on what this is. Let's start at line 1450. Bladud hafde ene son, Lear was he haten. Efter his father die, he held his districhtliche land somit an his lieve 60 winter. He makede an a riche burg, zur radfulle his krafte. And he her lette nemnen efter himselven. Kair Lear hechte the burg, lev her was dan kinge. The way an ura leed quide, Leirchestre klepiath. Jera adhan holde douwen, here was swithe Athelburg, and sethen there sech towards swithe muchel serwe, that here was al forfaren, thork their ledene faal. 60 winter hafte Lear, this land al to welden. Bladud, who is the king we just read about in the previous episode, the king who attempted to fly Icarus-like, but was blown by the wind and fell down and impaled himself on the spire of Apollo's temple. So Bladud had one son. He was called Lear. After his father's day, so this is after the days of Bladud, he, Lear, held this lordly land together in his life for 60 winters. And I will just say, it is conventional in scholarship on Layamon to refer to the characters in the text using the spellings and pronunciations that Layamon uses. So it is conventional when talking about Laymon's Lear to spell the name like this, L-E-I-R, and the same goes for Lear's daughters. In the interest of convenience for these videos, I think I'll just use the more familiar Shakespearean names for the characters. So, still talking about Lear, made a great city through his well-advised, or well-counselled reason, craft, skill. And he caused it to be named after himself. Caer Lear, the city is called. It was dear to the king. The city that we, in our people speech, so in our language, we call it Leirchestre, or nowadays Leicester. Long ago, in the olden days, it was a very noble city. And afterwards, there went towards it very great sorrow. Sorrow to the effect that it was all destroyed through the fall or the destruction of the people. Lear, for 60 winters, held this land all to rule, so he ruled. The king hefde 3 dochteren, by his drichtliche queen, nevde he nenne sonne, therefore he wart sorry. His manskippe to halden, butten da 3 dochteren. The otherste dochter heißt Gornewille, the other Regau, The tredje, Cordelia. Her was the youngeste zuster, a liten allra fiereste. Her was hier vader al swa leef, swa his achen lief. The alderde the king, and wakede an Athelin, and he hina bethochte what he done machte, of his kinericha after his die. The king had 3 daughters by his noble lordly queen. He did not have any son to hold or continue or maintain his honour, except for the 3 daughters. Therefore, he grew or became sorry. The eldest daughter was called Goneril, Goneril in Shakespeare's version. The other Regau or Regan in Shakespeare's version. And the third was Cordelia, who is of course Cordelia. She was the youngest sister, the fairest, the most beautiful of all in beauty, or in appearance. She was all as dear to her father as his own life. Then, or when the king grew old and weakened in nobility, and he bethought himself, so he thought to himself what he might do of or for his kingdom after his day. He zeide to himselven that uvel was, it ville mine riche to doen, allen minen dochteren, and geven him mine kinethed, and twemen mine bernen. Ach erst ich ville fordien schulchere bear mi beste friend, and he shall habe that beste deel of mine drichlichen land. Thus the king thochte, and thereafter he workste. He said to himself, the thing that was evil, so something that's a bad idea, I will do my kingdom, so I will, in this case, and this is a fairly flexible word, so I will, in this case, divide my kingdom, give my kingdom to all my daughters, and give to them my reign, my lordship of the people, and divide it amongst my children. But first, I will test or discover which of the daughters might be my best friend. So which thinks the most highly of me, which loves me the most. Basically the same story at this point as Shakespeare. And she shall have the greatest part of my lordly land. Thus the king thought. And according to that, thereafter, so after what he thought, is how he wrought, how he worked. He put it into action. He klepede Gornoile, his guthfulle dochter, ut of hier boer, to hier father there, and there spake the alde king, there he on Athelin said, Sei mij, Gornoile, sothera worden, swithe door the art mij, who leef am I to thee, who muchel worth leste thou mij, to walden kinnerige. Gornoile was swithe waar, swa beth wiefmen wellig waar, and zeide aan de lezinge, here father than king. He called Goneril his guthful daughter, and this is an interesting word because if we were to look at it purely etymologically, it would look like it means something like pugnacious, guth being an Old English word for battle or fighting, and this would seem to suggest that Goneril is good at fighting, and this word can have this meaning. However, what seems to have happened is that it's been conflated with, or this guth element has been conflated with god, so godfull, meaning good or gracious or noble, excellent, that sort of thing. So Lear called his good or his gracious daughter Goneril out of her chamber to her dear father, and thus spoke the old king, where he sat in nobility, where he sat nobly. Say to me, Goneril, true words. You are very dear to me. How dear am I to you? How much worth do you accord to me, or do you esteem me as having to rule the kingdom? So basically, how fit am I to rule the kingdom? Now, we've noticed something, we've had occasion to note in previous videos something that goes on here. There's a little bit of instability occasionally between the yog and the thorn, so between the sound and the sound, which suggests maybe that at least when the scribes are writing this manuscript, the Caligula manuscript, and certainly in the case of the Otho manuscript, where this is much more prevalent, that is probably on the way out, because the scribes are hearing as th and vice versa. So this is the word worth, but instead of a thorn here we have a yog. So this shouldn't be worth, it's still worth. So how much worth? How great is the worth? And now this is the word lasten, which has much the meaning that it still does in modern English, meaning to last or remain or endure. And this is a peculiar sense of the word, meaning, as far as we can tell from this context, because it seems to be the only place where it is used with this sense, it seems to mean how much worth does Goneril esteem Lear as having. So it's something about according quality or suitability to someone, something like estimation or judgment. And like I say, this is the only instance of this meaning, this particular meaning of the word, that's given in the Middle English dictionary, and it has a question mark next to it. So take it with a grain of salt. So, how much worth do you accord to me to rule the kingdom? Goneril was very prudent, as are women well everywhere, so pretty much everywhere. And she said a leasing, a lie, to her father the king. Leve fader dure, swa bide ich Gottes ara, swa helpe mig Apollin, for mina lef is all on him, that lever du art mig anna than this world all klane. And yet each day will I speken with, du art lever than me lief. And this is such a day to say that du nicht mig well I leve, Lear the king, I levde his doster lesinge. And thus answara Jef. That was the old king. Goneril speaking says, Dear father, dear, as I pray for God's favour, so help me Apollin, and we discussed him a little bit last time, as help me Apollin, or so help me Apollin, because my faith is all in him. You are so this is her oath that what she's saying is true. She's swearing that you are dearer to me, you alone are dearer to me than this world altogether, all clean, so the whole world. And yet, or even still, I will speak with you. You are dearer than my life. And this I say to you as truth. You may well believe me. Now, this is actually the opposite of what we saw before with worth and worth, where there's the instability between the ch and th sound. So this is nicht, not myth. So you might well believe me. Lear the king believed his daughter's lie, and gave this answer. He who was the old king. Ich they gornoile sedge leve dochter dure, God shall bean die mede for dire kretinge, ich am for mire alde swithe unbaldet, and thu me levest swithe, mare than is on lieve, ich wille me dirchliche londe a threa al to dalen, thien is that beste deel, thu art mi dochter der, and shalte haben to lavert min allra beste thine. There it may finden in mina kinderland. So Lear speaking, I say to you, Goneril, dear daughter, dear, good shall be your reward because of your greeting, because of what you've said about how dear I am to you. I am greatly weakened because or on account of my old age, and you are the most dearest, very dearest to me, more than anyone who is alive. So we understand anyone here. I will completely divide apart my noble or lordly land into 3. Yours is the best part. You are my dear daughter, and shall have as lord, meaning as husband, the best thane of all mine. So my best retainer will be your husband. The best thane who I can find in my kingdom. After spake the old king with his other dochter, Leve dochter Regau, what sayest tu mij to ride? Say thou before mire duchten, her dure ich am thee an herten. Da answarte met radfulle woorden. Al dat is on leven is mij zwaar dure, zwaar mij is din ane lim voor de min agene lief. Ach her ne seide nothing soth, no more than hier zuster. Alle hier lesinge, hier vader I levede. Da answarte the king, his dochter him I kwemde. The third deel of mine land, it's betake thee an hond. Thou shalt nieme loverd, there thee is allerlevest. Afterwards, so after he's spoken to Goneril, the old king spoke with his second daughter. Dear daughter Regan, what do you say to me as counsel? Say you before me. So say, before my court. So in everybody's hearing, say how dear I am to you in your heart. Then, and we understand Regan here, Regan answered with with well-advised words, so with clever words. All that is in life is not so dear to me as your one limb, so as one bit of you, is dear to me. Not even my own life. So one bit of you, one of your limbs, is more dear to me than everything in the world, including my own life. But she, so end of Regan's speech here, but she did not say anything true, no more than her sister. Her father believed all her lying. Then answered the king, his daughter pleased him. The third part of my land I give to you in hand, so into your power, into your control. And you shall take, as a husband, as a lord, so someone as your husband, where it is dearest or most preferable of all to you. And we will leave off there today at line 1509. When we pick up next time, we will hear Cordelia's reply. So, thank you all very much for listening. If you have any questions, any comments, or suggestions or corrections, please don't hesitate to get in touch. And you can do that either by way of the comment section below, or on the Facebook page that I've made for the video series, and you'll find the link to that page in the video description. All the best, and I'll see you next time.